What's up, guys? I'm here to do a video response to Mike. That would be Meodread on here. On a couple different things. Fedor, casual fans, and Dana White, I think, was all his topic. I've tried this a couple times. I go off on tangents, so this time, if it's over 10 minutes, I'm just going to split it into two and say what the hell with it. I'm going to try and stay on point, but, I just kind of my mind wanders sometimes and I go into different things. I made some valid points. Chase did a video on this as well, a response to it. And this is going to be a response to, obviously, Mike's, because he was the first one to come up with it. A couple of these topics I've talked about before, but, yeah, doesn't hurt to get a rundown again. Plus, I have some new interesting points, I think. This isn't necessarily going to stay in order. I'll try to stay in order on all the topics, but jump around. The first one with casual fans. I'm not a big, hater of guys that want to come in and learn, MMA or any new sport or anything in general. I wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous because we were all new fans at one point. So, you know, uh, my problem is people coming in and into the sport and, just like Mike and Chase said, being kind of idiots about it. And I'm not talking about just like not knowing anything. I'm talking, one, buying all the hype that the UFC throws at them and believing in everything that Dana White says and just watching UFC, which isn't a problem if you just want to watch UFC. I don't have a problem with you if you do that either. But making stupid comments, thinking you are the shit and knowing everything about it even though you just started watching it. Like, for example, I'm not saying I'm the greatest fan in the world or anything. I'm pretty close. But, when I first came into the sport, and people would ask me questions about it because, I had watched it for a couple months or whatever, I was really hesitant to, even answer their questions because I'm the kind of person that if I find something new, I'm going to delve into it as deep as I can and I'm going to watch everything and learn everything about it and learn about every detail about the sport before I go running my mouth about it, honestly. And that's just really the kind of person I am. So, really, it goes down to some people are just douchebags in real life. They're going to be douchebags about everything, so that's the way it is. But, if you don't know, about the sport, if you don't know certain things, ask questions, have an open mind about things. Don't think, you're 100% right about everything all the time. You can. I think I'm 100% right. That's what makes me pretty opinionated. Obviously, I like to argue about things. And if you're going to have an argument with somebody, make sure it's tasteful. You don't have to resort to name calling. Most of us are adults. We can have a conversation without resorting to "you're an idiot." I'm not, whatever. That's not it's not the greatest insult in the world, but I'm gonna try not to swear too much in this. The second thing I'm gonna bring up. I might have some more things to say about it. My notes might be out of order. Yes, I created notes. I created notes just for you guys because I ramble too much, and I'm still doing it. But anyways, the point about ultimate fighting being synonymous with MMA, it's not. It's kind of it's a hindrance, and obviously the UFC has gone to vast lengths to make sure that people do antiquate or equate ultimate fighting with MMA. When it's great to see MMA in mainstream media coverage. CNBC just ran their second show about it. Most of it was clips from the first one, which is kind of, iffy. Like, watch our brand new show, but there's going to be 3/4 of it is going to be clips from the first show we did. It's with a couple other interviews thrown in, which is nonsense. But anyways, see, tangents. It happens. You know, but there it was called Ultimate Fighting, something something or another, from Bloodsport to Big Time, or no, that was the first, whatever it's called. But and the UFC doesn't do anything to say no. Well, we're an MMA promotion, we're a mixed martial arts promotion, and if you want to further the sport of mixed martial arts, UFC, Dana White, obviously you wouldn't do that. You would say we're MMA, whatever. You are trying to grow your business, which I can't fault you for. Um, there's some things about being a business that is going to take away from the sport, and mostly is going to take away from the sport. But, um, and as far as Dana White is concerned, being the head of it, Dana White, as you don't have to do anything but look exactly to where this sport started to realize there needs to be an image reconstruction done, and not the sport itself. When the UFC first came out, they marketed it heavily as a blood sport, no rules, no rules, anything goes, bloodiest sport in the world. And it was that marketing, obviously, that brought it to the top, and it's the marketing that killed it. While Dana White, as the figurehead, he's brought in a lot of casual fans come in and watch UFC because they relate to him as the president, as, this big figurehead of an organization, a huge organization. They relate to him. But as your sport grows, you're going to need the things he says and the things he does, the verbiage he uses is out of line completely. And if people are going to compare him to, Roger Goodell and David Stern and Bud Selig, which I think is a little off kilter because this sport is completely different anyways, and it needs to be run differently, just not differently the way he runs it. Um, and that's the other funny thing too, and I'll go off on a slight tangent here and try to come back, but people want to say that people want to compare Dana White to these huge, presidents or commissioners, and they don't want to compare. Then when you try to compare MMA to baseball or MLB, NBA, you can't compare those. Can't compare those because those are team sports. Because that's completely different. Really? How is it different? How is that different? Really? Under the constructs of trying to pull in new fans, make money, get better personnel, and become bigger overall and make money. Sounds to me like they're all businesses, so that's the way it is. I'm kind of 50-50 on, should the UFC become like the NFL, NBA, and be one organization, and then that's it, because that's going to be the organization where all the top talent goes, and that's the way it is. But since the sport's so new, and there's not a lot of regulation involved yet, there's no players association like in baseball. There needs to be but it's too early to form a fighters union or anything like that, and there's a huge committee that oversees everything within the confines of those leagues. There's nothing like that in MMA. So right now there needs to be other promotions competing with the UFC, not only to make the UFC better, but for fighters to have somewhere else to go and somewhere else to make money, because until all this construction happens, and it's going to take years and years and years for that to happen. So I would say right now it's better for MMA to have other organizations, and later on maybe one